What are you watching?
You ready? Hey, welcome. Thank you all for showing up. Welcome to the show. We got a great studio audience tonight and a tremendous guest. Glad to have you with us. And what a beautiful day it was in California. Wasn't it terrific today? Oh, yeah. Wow. I mean, it's California. Southern California is the most beautiful place on this planet. No place can come near us. You know, on Friday night we had an earthquake that measured 7.1. Would easily have been a 10 in the Midwest. I mean, the earthquakes struck Hollywood so hard they nearly shook loose an original idea. But in West Hollywood, we were brave. Right here in West Hollywood, we were brave. Afterwards, the residents surveyed the tipped-over water bottles and the Emmys on the floor. And we vowed that we will get whoever did this. Actually, the earthquake ran along this newly discovered crevice that runs underneath the Central Valley. CNN has named it Trump's fault. That's right. Meanwhile, New York City today reported record amounts of tourism. People are just flocking there. Everybody's cashing in. Jeffrey Epstein is offering helicopter tours of his depravity. That's right. Billionaire Wall Street investor Jeffrey Epstein was indicted yesterday for having sex and sex trafficking with minor teenage women. He needs an attorney right now to protect his interests. You know, if the federal attorney offers him 14 to 17 years, he might take it out of habit. You know, it doesn't look good, you know, when the FBI goes on TV and announces they're looking for more of Epstein's underage victims, you know, and the toll-free number they give you is 1-800-CLINTON. I don't know if you heard the news today about the weather, but it's so hot in New York today that Bill Clinton is sticking to his story. I mean, this Epstein is so depraved. Bill Clinton was his sober companion. I mean, he's starting to look like Epstein screwed more minors than black lung disease. This is the major leagues, kids. That's right. Well, back to the real news. U.S. Customs announced today they need more drug-sniffing dogs to replace the dogs that are rapidly retiring right now. As a matter of fact, last night at LAX, a newly trained drug-sniffing dog ate 3 grams of cocaine and 4 ounces of weed. His first night at the job. Sounds like the first night at the job of the door guys here at the Comedy Store. Meanwhile, serious news, the Iranians are out of their minds. The Iranians announced today they're going to make all the nuclear uranium weapons grade bombs they can make, no matter what the United States wants to do about it. I mean, I don't think it's sane for Iran to play nuclear chicken with Trump, right? I mean, if I'm an Iranian, nothing would scare me like a 73-year-old man who's willing to die for his country. But we had July 4th on Thursday. By the way, my home state of Oklahoma was rated last week the most dangerous state in America to set off fireworks in, right? As a matter of fact, most people back in my home state celebrate July 3rd because they're honoring the last day they had all 10 fingers. Of course, we had a huge celebration on the National Mall on Thursday when President Trump heard that it was Independence Day. He ordered Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum to report to the Pentagon immediately. But it was a great day. They were honoring July 4th, 1776, the day that ordinary slave-owning aristocrats decided to take a stand and refuse to pay taxes on playing cards. Brings a tear to your eye. President Trump's speech on the mall, it had a really funny flub because of a teleprompter misprint. I mean, Trump accidentally said that during the Revolutionary War, the British seized our airports. They meant to say seaports, but I think Thomas Jefferson said it best in the Declaration when he said, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that the white zone is for the loading and unloading of passengers only." Well, the Democrats say that this big 4th of July extravaganza was just a free ad for President Trump's reelection. A lot more people are saying the same thing about the Democratic debates. Yeah. I mean, I've seen these guys. I think if God had wanted us to have elections, he'd have given us candidates, okay? I mean, the Democrats were so busy last week. Kamala Harris is now leading in the polls. She's even leading Trump in the polls, which could be interesting. Because if Kamala Harris replaces Trump as president, Netflix would have a new spinoff. Black is the new orange. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is always an adventure, right? We never know what. He's not a racist, he's just funny. During the Democratic debates, Joe Biden heard Beto O'Rourke speaking Spanish and immediately offered him $10 an hour to be his vice president. And then the very next day, Biden told a TV interviewer, I swear to God, he said that the Russians would never have interfered with U.S. elections in 2016 if he and Obama had been in charge. He and Obama were in charge in 2016. I mean, Biden stepped in it so bad, he looked like he just walked through San Francisco. And, oh, wait, speaking of Democrats, Al Gore turns 71 years old today. It won't be long before we have to replace him with a renewable source of anxiety. Disney, this big controversy at Disney over The Little Mermaid. It turns out Disney decided that The Little Mermaid is going to be black. And everybody's all upset. The Danes are saying it's cultural appropriation. Look, big deal. Look, kids, if you have a strong opinion over what race a mermaid should be, I can only conclude that you have sex with fish. Overseas, the Red Sox and the Yankees made history on last week when they played a 2-game series in London's Wembley Stadium. Truly historic, you know. And the players adjusted to the slight language differences between the two countries. You know, for instance, here we say French fries. There they say chips. Here we say Subway. There they say the Tube. Here we say jail. There they say Australia. And finally, Attorney General William Barr said today that he's going to do everything he can to get that census question about your citizenship on the 2020 census. And I got some friends that are very upset about that. I mean, I got a friend who sent an email to the White House today saying, I live in the daily fear that this census question is going to get my Latina mother-in-law deported. She lives at 1801 West 23rd Street, Los Angeles 90048, blue house on the corner, entrance code 1234, gets home around 6. You're a great crowd. We got a great show. Tim Dillon and Annie Letterman. Thanks for being around. Great crowd tonight. Thank you all. Great crowd. Thanks for showing up.